And for me, it's always been as simple as I need to know to the very penny how much is in that IOTA account at all times. There can never be a single day where I don't know what is in that IOTA account. So you've got to, for me, I didn't always, go through all the bookkeeping for QuickBooks for my operating account, but I always made sure that that IOTA account bookkeeping was up to date. So I knew exactly how much was in there, make sure that QuickBooks is lining up with the amount that you have in Clio. And, if you've written a check and it hasn't cleared yet, you understand why there's some kind of mismatch there. Really, really important to keep track of that. Um, I remember when I was establishing that IOTA account at at the bank. It was a little bit different for the bank rep to put together. I think I sat there for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and he said a few choice words, from the time that I started to the time that I finished, because it was a little bit hard for him to figure out what kind of account this needed to be, despite him telling me that he had just done one of those, a couple weeks prior. Uh, so patience was necessary, I would say, when you're trying to establish the IOTA account. It's not something that a bank representative does on an everyday basis. So, but I remember I went in there armed with, you know, all the paperwork from it might have been from the State Bar Association, or it might have been just the rules about the IOTA account from the rules of professional conduct here in Indiana. I think that's probably what it was, to explain to the bank what I needed to get done. So just go into it prepared with all the documentation that you need.
Yeah. And you're ultimately responsible for that as the attorney. It's not really the bank's responsibility. However, what I think we're demonstrating through this conversation is even though you are a solo lawyer, so to speak, it does take a team of people and software and tools and things to help you manage that practice and get it off the ground. And you haven't even represented your first client yet. You're just getting prepared to do that. And that's, that's, I think, a factor to consider as you're weighing the options of, do I join a firm or do I go alone and start this thing and hang my shingle? What tilted the scale for you in favor of, I think I want to give this a shot?